played on Saturday?
Not good enough. Not good enough. That's evident with the overall outcome of the game. Like, in order for us to win, we have to play better, and then just statistically, our rushing yards was not good enough. So that's the good thing about this week. We got a short week, so there's no time to feel bad for ourselves. We have an opportunity to get that bad taste right out of our mouth, and we've been rolling. And one game's never going to define our group. It's never going to define us. So it's how we respond. Our guys have responded extremely well. I've had a great 2 days of preparation on a short week, and we've put a lot on them, just kind of bumping up the timetable on their normal prep, and they've done a great job, and those guys are ready to get back on the field and get to work on Friday.
We were talking with coaches yesterday about K. Connie. I mean, that was his first meaningful football in a really long time.
Yeah.
How do you feel he did, and how do you feel he'll do moving forward?
He'll continue to get better, and he is hungry. He is hungry to improve and get better and find ways. And after every series, he's coming to the sideline. He's like, "Tell me what to do better. Tell me what I can do better." He's never pointing the finger or looking to make excuses. And he's a guy that he wants to wear the burden all on his shoulders. So he's not going to ever shy away from that. And that's part of the reason why we like him. And he's good for that position. So he'll continue to grow and improve. And like I said, he's going to take advantage of every opportunity this week to do that this game on Friday.
As you look back on the game, what wasn't clicking on the offensive line? Were guys missing assignments, or did you guys just run into a really good defensive line?
Yeah, we didn't have any blown assignments, so we were pretty good there. There's just first game finding our rhythm, and we can never get into rhythm, and that kind of bled into the entire offense. We kind of just couldn't get anything going, so our guys have to force a rhythm, and as coaches, we have to force those guys to get in rhythm with what we're calling or what we're game planning or how we're kind of operating. So we will get in our rhythm, and those guys will get better and kind of be able to get some momentum going earlier in the game.
Mason Randolph's made his first career start.
Yep.
What did you see out of him?
He's good. He's a good young player, and like I said, he's got a lot of talent. He's a young player, so he's every drive is a new experience for him and a new opportunity to learn. And the older guys were helping coach him up on the sideline and give him little things just to keep him calm and to keep him steady and make sure he was communicating and winning the pre-snap.
I know you didn't have Ben, but there was a lot of optimism about the O-line going into the season, adding Cade and having K. Connie back, and a lot of positivity about it. I mean, how surprising was it, I guess, for you to see the group struggle maybe the way it did some?
Yeah, like I said, one game is not going to define us, you know what I mean? So there's one game, and we're going to get better and grow and find ways to improve, and that's the fun thing about coaching this group, is that they're hungry to learn. Again, there was never ever a point the fingers or this guy's at fault or it's not me. Those guys were always like, hey, tell me what to do to get better. Like, I want to be better. And even that last drive, like, those guys were fighting and swinging until the very end. So they were always in the fight and they were always battling. So if they have that mentality, they'll continue to improve.
The quarterback change. From an offensive line standpoint, what do you say, or what is different about maybe Talon versus Hank? Obviously the mobility.
Yep, and again, that's not anything different for those guys. So the only thing you really tell them is like, hey, you're gonna have a different rhythm in your cadence. That's really the only difference. And some of the play calls might be a little different, but other than that, it's exactly the same. And those guys have faith in both quarterbacks. And so it wasn't like it was a shock when Talon went in. Those guys were like, yeah, awesome. Like, if that's the guy you guys want to go with, great. We'll block for him just like we block for Hank, and we'll roll whoever's back there calling the cadence.
With yesterday, Andy said that he gets look forward to getting Ben back. What does Ben bring to the table when he is available for you guys? And I mean, like last year, like his grades, he graded out as one of, if not your best run blocker too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's just another big physical presence. Again, he's got experience, so he's able to kind of, when it's not going well, he's not going to get flustered. He can stay calm. And he was a big-time wrestler in high school, so he just gets that physical nature of the position. And he doesn't mind being in the spotlight when you're a wrestler. It's just you one-on-one with another person, and everyone's looking at you. So he's been in those situations a bunch of times, so those don't faze him when he gets into big moments. He's used to having to win his one-on-one battle.
In terms of the running game specifically, why was George and Ashton just not able to get much going?
We just weren't able to get them past the line of scrimmage, and those guys are talented enough where if we can get them started, if we can just get them going, they can just puncture the line of scrimmage, they'll be able to make the second guy miss. So we just have to do a better job of not giving up penetration on the first level, playing better with our feet and our hands. And once we do that, like we saw George catch that little check down when he got it, he took off for explosive play. If we can just give him a little bit of daylight, you get Ashton a little bit of daylight, both those guys are very explosive and they'll make plays.
Coach Blau was talking about, maybe the struggles were guys pressing a little too much, wanted to prove everyone wrong, and maybe went out with a little too much hype. I mean, did you think that might be the case with your group or the offense as a whole?
Like, I know our guys care a lot. Like, being a Bronco is extremely important to those guys, and they want to do well. So that's why it's fun to coach them, is because being a part of this program means a lot to them, and they take it very personally, and they work extremely hard when no one's looking to meet the standard, meet the expectations. So those guys are very passionate about representing the brand a certain way. So that's why they're fun to coach, and we got to make our job as coaches, making sure they're in the right headspace. They're not pressing. They're not putting a cape on. They can just trust their training. We train at an elite level, and our defense is really good. So we get to go against a really, really good competition every single day of the week, all fall camp. So there's no reason to do anything different.
New Mexico's a very well defensively coached unit. What sort of things are you seeing in film as you prep for this week?
They are a huge challenge. Again, it's a great week for a huge challenge, short week, and then just what they do is so different than most other schemes. So there's a lot of movement, a lot of pressure, a lot of disguising the fronts. So it's going to force us to be extremely disciplined. It's also going to force us not to press, right? They're going to do a good job and get a negative play because of their scheme and how much they pressure and line's done. Then we're going to do a good job and hit an explosive run. So we have to stay level and even head, even if it's not going right away. We have to be ready to stay in the fight.
We were talking yesterday, and about Rocky Long and the defense, that the challenges, and that's how unique it is. Like, but what's your history with Rocky Long, if you know much? And I think Spencer yesterday gave him like a compliment. It was like a top 5 defensive coordinator of all time. I mean, it was pretty high praise.
Yeah, he is like literally one of the greatest defensive minds in college football. Like, some of the stuff he's done has been completely innovated and has bled into even stuff we do here on defense. So it's a fun challenge, and like, he only cares about like being the greatest defensive coordinator. He was a head coach before, and he's like, no, I don't want to be head coach. Like, I just want to be a defensive coordinator. I just want to call the defense and stop the run. And you can see, like, when we get into the red zone, like, he's going to do everything in his power to not let us run the ball. I mean, like, that's his whole mission. Is like, I don't care if you throw it over my head 1,000 times, you're never going to run the ball in the red zone. So he just presents those challenges where he's been around enough, and he has such a defined personality and philosophy, like, where he's never going to waver on what he does.
When you have a mind like that, how important is it to preach not abandoning the run game?
Yeah, I mean, that's every game we gotta make sure that we're running the ball. Like, on this offense, in this program, we have to run the ball to be successful. So if a defense takes that away from us, we have to make them pay right away and get them out of whatever they're doing to take away the run. So that's a program philosophy from the top down. Like, we have to be able to stop the run. We have to be able to run the ball.
Andy was talking yesterday about the guys up front needing to bring a better mentality to the game up front. Did you see any of that, or did you see a change in practice?
Yeah, like I said, those guys are they're hungry, right? And they wanna do a good job. And being a Bronco is really, really important to them. Being in the O-line room is really important to them. We got those pictures on the wall, and they see that they're part of a really special group. So they take that extremely seriously, and they're gonna work their tails off to make sure that when game day comes, they're prepared and have that mentality to play physical and win the line of scrimmage.
I guess just being a short week away on the road, what does that present in terms of challenges just with less time to prep?
Well, you have the mental part where you have to, like, you lose a day of watching film and studying the opponent, but then you also have the physical part of you lose that day of rest. So it's kind of managing and balancing, trying to get the reps that we need during practice, and this being kind of a unique defense. Normally we'd need a lot of reps to kind of get the good looks. So we've been trying to work on getting our guys the reps they need without necessarily wearing on physically.
What did you see from Talon when he came in, just in his mobility and how he handled himself?
Talon's a guy, like, if you know nothing about football and you're just in the stadium, you're like, whoa, that guy is making plays. Like, he's running fast, and he's keeping the play alive with his feet. So he is just different that way, where he can just extend plays when it's not exactly perfect. He can find a way to wiggle through and get a positive gain.
One more about Mason. How you have such? I mean, you got a bunch of seniors and juniors, and maybe guys that can come back next year because of their COVID years. But Mason's the young guy of that group. I mean, how important is it that you do get a guy like him and some experience against Oregon State? Because I mean, all these guys leave, somebody's going to have to play, right? So how
Yep.
is that he kind of takes that, those reins, I guess.
And that's the nature of college football. You get your room exactly how you want it, and then guys graduate. So you're always trying to replenish and replace and develop young guys. And we knew that last year with Mason that he had a chance to be a good player. So we tried to start prepping him last year. So last year at the end of the season, we were traveling him and just getting him in the routine of being on the road and pregame meal and warm-ups and all those things. So when he got his chance to play, well, we didn't know it was going to be the first game of the season, but whenever he got that chance to play, he'd be a little bit closer to being ready, because there's no substitute for game experience. We can watch film, we can practice, but there's just that energy, that emotion being on the field, especially at the line position, just with how physical it is. And you have to play every play. You can't get subbed in or out. You're playing for all 73 plays, where you just need those reps. So he did a good job of learning and growing, and he takes great notes and is super attentive in meetings and studies a lot of film. So he'll get better.
Every guy here, this is their dream. So what's it like to go to a guy for a first time and say you're making your first start?
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, we told him that, and the next conversation was like, hey, don't get too excited, don't get too fired up. So it's that you work so hard your whole life to get to this position. Like, all these guys have just bled and sweat to be a starter, and they get there, and it's like they're so excited. It's kind of, we have to calm them down, just make sure that they rely on their training and their fundamentals and techniques. And that's why our training is so important, is so when those guys get in that big stage, when the lights are on them, they can just fall back to what they've been doing all winter, all summer, and all during the week. Like, just fall back and just play how you train, because that's good enough.
Do you guys feel like, I mean, pass protection, I will say, is pass protection was pretty good for the most part, it seemed like.
Yeah, I mean, there's always the silver lining, and like, we didn't play good enough to win. You know what I mean? And we got to play better. So you can look at statistics and you can find things that we did do well, and we point those things out and help those guys grow. But like, we have to make sure the quarterback has enough time. It's really simple to find the open receiver. The open receiver will catch the ball. So if the quarterback is not finding the open receiver, that's on our job to give him more time, right? To make sure he's comfortable to find that, whether that's 3 seconds, whether that's 6 seconds, whatever it is. There's no clock in our head. We have to give the quarterback enough time and space to find the open receiver, however long that takes.
Did Tim Plow yesterday said he could tell something was up with Hank after 6 plays, and he said he mentioned it to Andy. I know you're focused on the line, but did you notice that Hank just didn't have it? Did you think about that at all for those first 6 plays?
Nope. I mean, I was not even thinking about Hank. And again, I'm just trying to make sure that those 5 guys are operating, communicating, and talking. And so I was not even aware of any issues.
Even though there's always competition for quarterback, Hank and Taylor were smiling, sharing tips today. What can you say about their relationship?
If you were to walk in right now, like, you couldn't tell that there's a quarterback battle, issue, competition. Like, those guys, again, they care about Boise State football. So at the end of the day, as long as we're having success, those guys will be happy. I mean, Hank's played a lot of games here, and he's done a lot of good things, and he just wants to see this place be successful. So that's what's awesome. Those guys are in here late, studying, getting extra work in together, talking, helping each other. It's a great room just to see those guys compete and still have that nature where they're working together to help each other win.